Hey everyone, welcome back to the Skidmark Performance channel. It is the first race event of 2025, and the only changes to the car are I put a BS spoiler on it. BS stands for big spoiler. It's ugly, but I think it'll work. The other thing is, this is also the very first event that I have a co-driver. Bridget is driving with me. I'm super excited about that, obviously, but you know, I am, to be honest. Her opinion is very important to me, and I want her to have a good time. And if she goes out and, you know, hates driving it, that's going to bother me, because I tried to build a car that was, doesn't try to kill you. Anyways, I had my Insta360 camera and my GoPros all charged up, and I forgot them somewhere. So all I'm going to have for video for this portion is the draggy videos, the draggy lap videos. So it's a double header. So there's another event tomorrow. So I think what I'm going to do is, just so you have some footage of the course, some interesting footage, I think I'm going to just combine the two events, today and tomorrow, and put it all together as one video. So anyways, let me show you the spoilers so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. And there's the big spoiler. Well, in case you want to get the quote, a car is just fast enough when you stand in front of it in the morning and are afraid to unlock it. Yeah, I would agree with that. I guess another change is the seats and seat belts are different from last year. Let me show you that. But I think I already had a video of that. These are Pro Car seats, and they're carbon fiber backed, and they're really comfortable. They sit a little higher than the TMI seats, and but they do hold you in a lot better, and there's a place for the seat belts to come through. These are also new. These Sparco seat belts are new, and the reason I put these in is because for day to day you can just not put the shoulder belts in. You can just click the bottom belts in, because it makes me crazy when people want to have a co-drive or a co-ride with, or come along on a run with me, and I have to give them a tutorial on how to put the seatbelts on. So I don't like that. So anyways, so that changed too. I think yeah. So anyways, I'm the very first car to run today, and cold track, early morning. Nobody's been on it since last year. Yeah, I'm gonna have my hands full. And here's the first co-driver ever in the Camaro. Bridget, what do you think? Are you excited about today?
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I've only driven the car for about an hour on the regular street. Never took it anywhere near the limits, and I'm not really sure how it's going to make its way around the cones. So probably just go slow and careful today, and it's a cold day, see how it goes.
How do you think it's going to compare to your usual ride, this Corolla GR?
I'm not sure you can compare the two. One
What?
to
They're
one.
both white. They both
Yeah, they're
have
both white.
18-inch
Yep,
black
yep.
tires.
That's true. Coming from mod class, and probably the Camaro will actually suit my driving style better once I get used to it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Yeah, the GR was harder to deal with.
Yeah.
Hopping out of Pink Panther and getting into the
Right.
GR is
Getting out
probably
of
a
power,
bigger
yeah.
jump than.
Getting out of the power band in the GR, and braking too early and having to get back on it is not ideal. I think I'll have plenty of power to be able to brake a little bit earlier today.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you again after you've driven the car, so hopefully you're still all smiles then.
Hopefully. I'm sick too, so we'll see what happens.
All right, so I made a run, and ooh, it's windy out here. I hope I don't get wind noise. Let me see if I can find a shielded area. I made my first run, and I used the same shock settings I used last year. I write it all down. I used the same shock settings. And yeah, the car was understeer. It was a little pushy. Now, you know, I was the first car on a cold course, all the dust, all that whatever. But it was a little pushy. Felt good otherwise, though. And came back, tire temperatures were 85 degrees. Obviously, that's not nearly good enough for decent traction. And I think the pushiness was the rear spoiler pushing down the back of the car. I really do. So I actually got a rerun because somebody called me in as off course, and I actually went out to the Marshall stations. It was like, who called me off course? Because I want to know where I went off, because I thought I did the whole thing 100% correct. And they're like, no, we didn't call you off course. We said there was no cones. Well, timing misunderstood. So instead of arguing about it, they just gave me another run. So on my second run, I softened the front compression 2 clicks, and balance was great now. So it was really good. Bridget did 1 run. She looked good out there. She was not pushing the car very hard. So I'm sure that'll get better as she gets accustomed to it. And she stepped on it for the first time, really stepped on it coming into the finish. And she came back and she was like, holy F, that thing's fast. So anyways, so that's good. So we'll see when she gets comfortable with it. Technically, it doesn't accelerate as hard as the Pink Panther, so I'm sure she'll get up to speed on that soon enough. And the draggy is not working. And I'm not the only person here with a draggy, and none of us can get our draggy working. Our draggy lap, it's all set in correctly in the app, like the start finish line are all set correctly, but the timer is not starting when we cross the start line or the finish line. So I don't know. I guess now, actually right now there's downtime because somebody's wheel fell off, literally somebody's wheel fell off out there on the course, and they're struggling to get it off. So maybe I can go out there and redo the start and finish line. Maybe I'll try that. All right, so let's see how the rest of the runs go. Okay, Bridget, event's over. What do you think?
I'm still smiling.
Excellent.
It's going to take some getting used to. I was telling people today that I've started out slow because it's like having a really hot date and you don't want to get slapped in the face, so you just hold hands for the first few runs, maybe get a kiss goodnight, and then try to go all the way in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So it was good. It all went smoothly for the most part, and unfortunately I hit lots of cones, too many cones, but it did get faster, so that was good, but still way off of the pace that I think I should have.
It did not look like you were pussyfooting out there.
I felt like I was pussyfooting.
It looks like you were getting out. Well, you're getting in. Yeah, well, I don't know. Didn't look at it from the outside. Sure sounded good coming into the finish, flat out.
Yeah, I don't even think I was flat out. I think I was about 3/4 throttle to the finish. I don't think I had the courage to just nail it. So
I got some video of that, so I'll post that here.
Awesome.
Holy shit. Okay, the event is over and car's still running great. Everything's great. Yeah, it was really awesome. I finished in my run group, first in packs, first in class, and then the next run group ran, and a whole bunch of D Street cars with ABS brakes have beaten me in packs. So I'm still top 10 in packs. So that's good out of 50 some competitors. So I'm happy with that, because top 10 in packs in this group has been something that I've not been able to do for quite a while, at least not with the Pink Panther. And there's 3 pivots on this course, 3 hard braking zones. And I think it's really hard with no ABS brakes on the car to compete with. They can just go burning in there and mash the brakes, turn. And actually all the cars that beat me are all-wheel drive cars. So maybe coming out of them is faster as well. Anyways, been a good event, and tomorrow's another one, and I'm going to make a few adjustments this evening, and hopefully we'll come back tomorrow even stronger. Okay, so the event is over. And what an event it was. Okay, so I did make a couple of changes to the car overnight from yesterday's event, and wow, it was amazing today. So I'm going to show you the changes I made, and you know, I feel a little silly about one of them, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, that there is the rear shock, the rear coilover. Now you can see how much travel there is there. You can sort of, between the springs, you can see how much travel there is. So every time I look at the underside of this car, it's always when it's on a lift. But yesterday I was turning my shocks. I was adjusting my shocks with the knob there. And I noticed I only had half an inch of travel before the shock body was hitting the bump stops. Just half an inch, not even half an inch, maybe a quarter inch. Anyways, so what I did was I changed the mounting location. See how it has multiple, there's a top hole and a bottom hole. I moved it to the bottom hole, and then I turned the adjuster a whole bunch of turns, 10 to be precise, to bring me back to the normal ride height. And now I have way more suspension travel. So the car rides better, and it's better over bumps. Hey, no surprise. I feel a little silly that it took me this long to discover that, but that's, you know, that's how these things play out. The other thing is when I added the big spoiler, BS, it caused the car to understeer. Now, I drove the car all last year, same shock settings, and once I had the shock set properly, no understeer, okay? I add that, suddenly understeer. So I softened the front shocks, and that cured the understeer. That was yesterday. So today, well, last night I should say, I measured the angle of my splitter, okay? So the splitter here, what you want is you want either straight or slightly down. Well, not that way. You want the front of the splitter to be angled or straight or slightly down. You don't want up. I put an angle gauge on it. It was actually up. So what I did was I lengthened each one of these professional, awesome strut rods. You can see the adjustment there. You see that? See that little line? That's where it was. Each one of these, I lengthened, and now it's angled down slightly. Believe it or not, that little change to the front splitter meant that I had to stiffen the front shocks back up to where they were because that change in downforce on the front of the car made it oversteery all of a sudden. So a little bit of a change, put the shocks back where they were. Now it's perfectly balanced. And I came in 6th today in packs, which is very good. I don't think I've ever done that well in packs in this car, or the Pink Panther for that matter, because our course out here, like you see the course, you'll see video of the course, it's got 3 hard braking zones. Well, I don't have ABS brakes, right? So it's pretty hard to compete with the cars that have ABS and can just hammer the brakes on and turn and all that stuff. So So I'm super happy with how today turned out. The car performed flawlessly, honestly. Yeah, and I can't believe the difference. I think the big difference is in the performance of the car is not the spoiler, it's not the splitter. I think the biggest difference is the nut behind the wheel, because now that we have sims at Speed World, we actually have my car. I had the guys from Grassroots Motorsports build me my car, the Camaro, just like it, into the sims. And what I did was I have the 2016 to 2023 Nationals courses in the sims, and I took my car on those courses and drove them and drove them and drove them, and realized that my driving style is not good for this kind of car. So I changed my driving style. Basically, I get the car up to speed as quickly as possible and maintain that speed, slow down as little as possible. Like it's as simple as that. It sounds dumb. It's as simple as that. I do very little gas, very little brake. Once I'm up to speed, very little of that stuff. I don't try to change speed. I just try to maintain speed, turn, and not get behind, obviously, and have a good line. And it makes a dramatic difference. As a matter of fact, yesterday's runs, I think my first two runs were sort of my old style of driving, and I really, I gave myself a talking to, and I was like, no, this is not what you learned in the Sims. And I drove the way that I learned in the Sims, and I literally took 2 seconds off my time, and then another second and a half off that for my final run. Like it was that dramatic of a difference, and it was just learning how to drive this car. So anyways, it was a glorious event. Car worked flawlessly, big fun. First in class, sixth in packs for the whole group, and I get to drive it home with the air conditioning on a super hot day. It's 30 degrees Celsius here. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. In the 80s, 90s, it's hot. But car didn't overheat at all, no problems there, and I get to drive home with the air conditioning on. So I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna edit this video. I actually got video today. I got it from the Draggy, and I got video from the Insta360, and hopefully I have some fun video to share with you. And well, although this is probably gonna be at the end of the video, so you've already seen, well, whatever. Let's see how it all edits out. Okay, later, next time.